Mm. Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. Maybe good evening for some of you, maybe good morning for some of you. I just want to say welcome again to the Board Your Mammal Club series, talk series. This is the first time in 2021. And basically, Borneo Mammal Club is a online community of mammal lovers and celebrating Borneo's wildlife, whether it's researchers, photographers, etc. Uh, and yeah, there are so many interesting personalities on the Borneo Mammal Club. So it's just nice for everybody to share some of their cool experiences. So my name is Chavez, and I'm the founder of One Stop Borneo Wildlife. Today we have Dean, who will be talking about Danum Valley. He has been based there for many years now, and he's a naturalist and a guide there as well. But I let him do the introduction better. He can do it better than me. I just want to say that yesterday there were two talks on bats by Charles Francis and dolphins by Chun Sing Wong. Those who didn't attend, I have recorded them, and I'll post the links in Borneo Mammal Club soon. So without further ado, we'll let Dean take over, and after that we'll have a discussion as well, guys. So Dean, the screen floor is yours.
All right, thank you, Chavez. Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. How are you? I hope everybody is doing good. Everybody's doing strong. Uh, and yeah, my name is Dean. Been a natural guide for about, I think, coming to 11 years now. And interesting, and I actually wanted to thank Chavez for uh, allowing me this opportunity where actually this is my first webinar. This is my first Zoom meeting that I was being part of as a speaker, and frankly speaking, why Danum Valley? And well, Chavez made a very good choice picking me up as a speaker for Danum Valley, where the first time that I met Chavez actually was in Danum. So we were walking back together to the dormitory, and Chavez was like, "Have you been to this place? Have you been to that place? Have you seen this? Have you seen that?" So he had a lot of enthusiasm for wildlife, basically. And uh, my career as a guide, almost 11 years ago, also started in Danum, where I used to work at one of the resort there, Borneo Rainforest Lodge in 2010. I started there in 2010 until 2016, and then I moved to KK, where I'm living right now. And then now I am currently employed by Sticky Rice Travel. So even after I left Borneo Rainforest Lodge, I still go to Danum very, very often. So yeah, talking about mammals of Danum Valley. I mean, like, of course, that this kind of experience is not the same. Like, I'm gonna show you some pictures. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna talk about like what makes Danum Valley so special among mammals. But yeah, to get the real experience of it is we wait until this pandemic is over, then we all can go to Danum Valley together. And those who haven't been to Danum Valley, you guys really, really need to go there. It's so special to my heart. It's so special to my career, to my life. And yeah, let's start with the slides. And I'm gonna share the screen right now.
Dean, before the field center and before
Yeah.
Sticky Rice, you were also based in Borneo Rainforest Lodge, right?
Yes, I was. Yeah.
So that's cool, man. I mean, you have seen all parts of Danam. That's awesome.
I mean, like, yeah. I mean, although only been to Danum is big, basically, but been working in Danum Valley Field Center as well as Borneo Rainforest Lodge, gives me a very, very wide, vast, uh, I would say, experience of the way how I can enjoy and observe the forest as well as the mammals. And there are a lot of other cool things that you can actually find in Danum. But since that today we're going to be focusing on talking about mammals, we gonna leave the scope into that particular thing. But yeah, both places are basically the same. It's only the facility that are different. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna share the screen right now. I'm gonna share the PowerPoint. Okay. So okay, The screen is a little bit jammed. Okay, let's just leave it to this. So yeah, mammals of Danum Valley. So what I'm going to talk about is the introduction to Danum Valley, what Danum Valley really is, where is Danum Valley, what makes Danum Valley so special among the mammals, why are the mammals so special, yeah, how do you find the mammals, okay, and I'm also going to show you some of the pictures about the primates, the wild cats, why are they common and rare mammals in Danum Valley. I mean, some of the photos that we took, my photos, yeah, and also my boss's photo, Charles Reiner Charlie. So some of the photos that I'm gonna show you guys are actually Charles' photo, but I was with him during that moment. So I'm gonna save that photos uh, to the last. Those are very, very special photos. Those are very unique, unusual encounter that we both had when we both doing guiding together. So yeah, let's move on to the next slide. Okay. So I'm gonna put in the full screen.
It should be on the lower right somewhere. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Yeah. Now there you go. So Danum Valley, how big Danum Valley? It is 438 square kilometers or 43,800 hectares of conservation area. So if it's a conservation area, it is also a first-class protected forest, and it is being managed by the state government, which is known as Yayasan Sabah or Sabah Foundation. So inside Danum Valley, there are more than 120 different species of mammals. So if I'm going to put all 120 different pictures, which I don't really have, where most of it are actually covered by bats and rodents. So I don't think a lot of people want to see the photos of the rodents and the bats. But yeah, there are more than 120 different species of mammals. There are more than 300 different species of birds, more than 50 different species of reptiles and amphibians, about 40 species of fish. Yeah. And it is also a location of one of the oldest rainforests in the world, 130 million years old. Can you imagine that, guys? We have one of the oldest rainforests in the world. And the picture on the side is actually the pictures during around 6:30 in the morning inside Danum Valley, where the mist is still around, the sun's just rising up, covered with tall, big trees, and the average height of the trees over there is around 50 to 70 meters tall. So being there is just really, really amazing. So only two facilities available for visitors, which are the two places that we mentioned earlier, Danum Valley Field Center and Borneo Rainforest Lodge. Okay, and where is Danum Valley? So Danum Valley is basically, well, in the island of Borneo. In the island of Borneo, Danum Valley is located in Sabah, and in Sabah itself, Danum Valley is located on the southeast of Sabah. So to get to Danum Valley, you have to drive from Lahadatu town itself. So Lahadatu, where's my mouse? Yeah, Lahadatu somewhere around the southeast as well. So from and if you are flying to Sabah, either from Kuala Lumpur, yeah, or from some of the states in Peninsular Malaysia, you have to fly to Kota Kinabalu or to Tawau, or also to Sandakan. And if you are from Sandakan to Tawau, it is about 2 to 3 hours drive to Lahadatu. And from Lahadatu, it is another 2 to 2.5 hours drive to Danum Valley. Yeah. So to go to Danum Valley, about half an hour, the first half an hour of the drive will be like nice paved road, but the next 2 hours is gonna be bumpy. The smooth gravel, you're gonna have a very nice massage. And the best thing about it, along the drive, you will be able, if you're lucky, you will be able to encounter some of the mammals. There are some of the nice rare mammals that can be encountered along the drive, like the Borneo pygmy elephants. Sometimes orangutans also can be seen there, can be spotted at the side of the road. You'll see some monkeys, you see some orangutans, but we'll save it to the late. We'll save that later. I'm going to show you some pictures. And if you are driving from Kota Kinabalu to Lahadatu, it takes you up to 7 hours. Yeah, so it's a long drive, but it's a very nice drive. Yeah. So again, once you reach Lahada, 2.5 hours, then you can go. Then you can reach Danum Valley. So what makes Danum Valley so special for mammals? Yeah. So there are nearly 1,500 species of higher plants in 562 genera and 139 families of trees. So when there's a lot of trees, it will provide multiple various choices of habitat among mammals, not only mammals, but reptiles and amphibians as well. So almost 100% of Danum Valley are virgin forests. Okay, 80% of the forest itself is covered by dipterocarp trees. And for those who doesn't know what dipterocarp trees are, dipterocarp is actually the name of a family of a tree, yeah, which dipterocarp trees are the ones that can grow all the way up to 50, 70 meters tall. And if you look at my second last point over there, the tallest tropical tree in the world also can be found in Danum Valley. It is about 100.8 meters tall, 330.7 feet tall. There's actually, the tree itself is a dipterocarp tree. Okay? And multi-level tree layers provide convenient movement access to the animals, as well as shelters to hide from predators. So basically, there are 6 layers of plants, of trees inside the forest itself. It starts from the forest floor, and also it goes to the shrubs, it goes to low canopy, upper canopy, middle story, as well as the emergence. So multi-level provide multiple shelters and multiple hunting places for the animals. So why mammals are so important to the ecosystem and the states too? So mammals are the main seed disperser. When you're talking about elephants is a big mammals that eat a lot of food. They eat fruits as well. So, and they travel a lot. So when they travel from one place to another, they will basically poop, yeah, and the poop will be dispersed. Not only the elephants, but as well as other mammals like the orangutans, uh, civets, bearded pig. They will all do the same. They will eat the fruits and they will disperse the seeds everywhere in the forest. And they're also a food chain controller. Yeah, if there's basically no predator, there would be too much or abundant of numbers of certain mammals inside the forest, and sometimes when there's too much of something, it's not good. And for the state, of course, in our part, it would be the tourist attraction. So there's a lot of people. I mean, like before the pandemic happens, there's a lot of people wanted to come to Danum Valley, as well as other places. Not only Danum Valley to see mammals, but like places like Kinabatangan River, Sepilog. They all want to go there to see mammals. And we are talking about mainly European, American, Australian visitors that really, really wanted to come to see the mammals. There are some of the Asian from China, basically, that are starting to wanted to go to this kind of place to see mammals, but it's getting there. But now, at the moment, or before the pandemic happens, it's basically just mainly the white tourists, European, American, Australian tourists. So, okay, we move to the next. Okay, so I'm showing you some of the photos from around 300 meters above sea level of elevation, overlooking at the valley. And the facilities that we can see down there are actually the Borneo Rainforest Lodge. Yeah, that lodge has been there since 1994. And yeah, you can see how thick the forest is. Yeah, I mean, I would say like whenever I'm on the top of that hill, overlooking on this view here, over here, I would say there's a lot of giant broccolis. It means that there's a very, very large forest that you can see over it. It's virgin forest. It's just amazing. The next photo is actually a photo of during, this one is during sunrise from around 419 meters above sea level. And this is from a global atmosphere watchtower, about half an hour drive from the Danum Valley Field Center, the other facility. Yeah. So we normally will go there at 5 o'clock in the morning and we'll wait for the sunrise to come up. And this is kind of view that you will be able to see. And when you are high enough, you would basically see the forest just still being covered by mist. And I would call this the ocean of the mist. Yeah, I like naming things. Okay, so how do you find the mammals when you are inside a very thick rainforest like in Danum Valley? How do you find them? When do you find them? Yeah. So we start at daytime. Yeah. At daytime, the best time to find mammals are actually during early in the morning. Yeah. You start around, or well, as early as 5:30 sometimes, or the best time will be around 6 o'clock, where it's not too dark, where it's still starting to get bright. Yeah. And then late in the afternoon. Normally we'll go out around 3:30 in the afternoon and walk up until like 6. It is also nice to see the transition from daytime to evening. The sound of the forest is amazing. Yeah. And then when you're walking inside the forest at daytime, you need to be aware and listen to the sounds of the movements. Yeah, the calls, yeah, the fallen or broken branches. Like we don't. Our animals in the forest, they don't really call much. Yeah, I mean there are some of the mammals that calls like orangutans. We got the red leaf monkey that calls. Oh yeah, the gibbons, which makes the most beautiful calls in the morning. And yeah, I try to imitate some of the calls. Like if it's a gibbon, it sounds like ooh, ooh, ooh. So that's the sound that you get that will amaze you in the morning. If it's the orangutan call, they make different types of calls. Like if it's a long territory call made by the big male orangutan, I haven't done this for a while, but ooh, ooh, that's how it sounds like. Yeah. Not like really the sound, but I try to do my best. Yeah, but yeah, I mean the sounds of the birds as well. But yeah, those are the type of calls that you're looking for, that you're looking forward to hear in the morning. So it enables you to follow where does the call comes from. Yeah, and then the next point will be trying to sense the scent of the urine and the feces. Yeah, you can basically tell what either the smell are fresh or not. Yeah, and you can follow the scent, and in some cases you can follow the scent, you can follow the trails, and it will lead you to the place where they could be. Yeah, and then you look for fruiting trees. So normally, and the fruiting trees that we're talking about is mainly the fig trees, the ficus. So whenever the ficus are fruiting, so that is the time, that's where you need to be. If you stay in the forest long enough, you basically know where the trees are about to be fruiting, or where the fruits, when the fruits are going to be ripened. And then you can tell that there will be some of the activities of mammals, regardless. Orangutan, it could be an orangutan, it could be a gibbon, it could be a binturong, which are the civet. It could be uh, birds as well, like hornbills. Yeah. Okay. And then the next one will be the tiered tree bark, yeah, or wild ginger. So these are mainly for orangutans. Yeah, orangutans would normally go for trees and they will tear the tree bark and they will chew on the tree bark to get some moisture out of it. Some researchers also believe that some of the tree bark, as well as the wild ginger, contains medicine that can soothe their stomach if they have stomach ache. Yeah, and when you are walking in the forest, try not to wear bright colored attire. Yeah, try to wear more camouflage attire like dark green, brown, black. Yeah, and of course, like most people will tell you, like every time when you go to the forest, and if you are not really used to the forest condition, wear long pants and leech socks. When there's mammals, there's leeches. So if you don't like leeches, wear leech socks. So that will be a different story. Okay. At nighttime, okay, the best time to go look for mammals at nighttime would be early in the evening, yeah, or past midnight. So those who are really, really keen to find mammals, that are willing to stay up all night, past midnight would be the best time to look for nocturnal mammals. The nocturnal mammals I'm talking about are like the Bornean clouded leopard, also civets, yeah, marbled cat, yeah. But if it's early in the evening, one of the mammal that me personally love to see, especially when they come out, are the flying squirrels. So flying squirrels in the early evening during dusk, especially, what we normally thought was every time when the cicada starts to sing, that's the alarm clock for the flying squirrels to wake up. So when the cicada starts to sing, they'll come out of the nest, they'll stay for a while, and then they'll go to the top of the tree, lean and stay on the tip of the branch, and start to make the first glide of the day. And flying squirrel can glide really far, all the way like 50, 70, 100 meters far, depends on how tall the tree that it took off from. That's amazing. Yeah. So using a good flashlight, and when you're looking for mammals inside the forest, you need to look for the eye reflections. Yeah, you shine your torch or flashlight through the bushes, through the branches of the trees, and the best position for the flashlight to be is when they are aligned with your nose in between of your eye, and then you will be able to see the reflections easily. And then in an open space and road, do the night drive safari with a good spotlight. Because of course, when you are inside the trail looking for the mammals, your vision are very limited because there are a lot of trees around you, and when you're trying to look up, there are also another trees. So, but when you are on the open road, open space, if there's an accessible road, take a car. And in Danum Valley, there is a road. Normally, we'll do night drive every night, and you would had a chance to spot some of the nice mammals along the road if you have an open space. Okay, now we move on to the most essential type of sightings of mammals. Every time when we bring tourists inside the forest, these primates are the ones that they will be asking for earliest. When can we see, where are the orangutans? When can we see them? Where are the gibbons? What are the type of monkeys that you have here? So those are the common questions that we receive whenever we bring tourists inside Danum Valley. So these primates are the type of primates that can be found in Danum Valley itself. So, yeah, orangutan. Okay. So this orangutan was actually, the photo was taken in the Bornean Forest Lodge. Over there's an orangutan researcher, and they name every orangutan that they found there. And I believe that this orangutan here is known as Abu. So there are a few other orangutans like Abu. We used to have King. We used to have Goten, and a few others. And we have also the North Borneo gibbon. So these are the ones that I was making the call earlier. Yeah. So these are the only two apes that we have in Danum and in Borneo as well. Yeah, two different types. There are a few different species of gibbons. Yeah, but in Danum as well as in the North Borneo area, we only have the North Bornean gibbon. Yeah. So the next slide would be red leaf monkey or red langur. Yeah, you can see like how he was enjoying the fruit over there. Yeah, it doesn't even seem to bother that I'm taking the photo of it. Yeah, it's just enjoying its food. So red langur or red leaf monkey is one of the commonest mammal or primate that you can find in Danum Valley. Yeah, you basically wouldn't miss them. That regardless if you go to Danum Valley Field Center or even in Borneo Forest Lodge, you would be able to find the red leaf monkey, and they live in a medium-sized group. They can be up to 7 to 10 of them in one troop. Yeah. And there are a few different subspecies throughout the island of Borneo, and this monkey is also endemic, which means that you won't find them anywhere else outside of Borneo. Okay. The next one would be the macaques. So these are some of the most common monkeys that can be found around Danum Valley area. So we got two different types: long-tailed macaques as well as the pig-tailed macaques. Yeah, and I want to show you some of the interesting feature of the macaque's face, especially if you notice, like there's a white patch on the eye of the macaque. So the white color on the eye is actually appear there for a reason. It's basically as a defense mechanism. So macaques live in a very large troop. There can be up to 30 to 50 of them sometimes. So when there's so many of you in one troop, it makes you easier to be traced, to be tracked if you are a predator. And the predator I'm talking about is the clouded leopard. So when clouded leopard try to attack, they will try to see the movement of the macaques, see if they're awake or not, see if they are sleeping, what they are doing. And when macaques are sleeping and when the eyes are closed, that white color, that white patch on the eye makes them look like they are not sleeping. It looks like they're still awake. So that's some of the interesting feature of how the mammals in the forest develop their defense mechanism, especially when they're about to encounter predators like clouded leopard and the other predator like the python, for example. Okay, and these two, if you look at the pig-tailed macaque, it looks really like, hey, I'm the guy, I'm the gangster, and you don't want to mess around with them. Yeah, you don't want to mess around with the pig-tailed macaque because they can be vicious, they can be very, very aggressive sometimes, especially the alpha. They always wanted to try to protect the rest of the troop. Okay, move on to the next slide. The only nocturnal primate that we have, Western tarsier, the smallest primate in Borneo. Yeah, and maybe like this, if they are on that size. Yeah, and also the slow loris, the Philippine slow loris to be exact. So these two are basically like if you manage to see these two mammals, primates, it will be considered as a bonus. Not every visitors that visit Danum Valley are able to witness and found these two primates. Yeah, they are only active at night. They are small. Western tarsier, they live within the lower canopy, within the shrubs area. Yeah, I mean, you think that it would be easier because they only live in the shrubs, so you can just find them on the eye level condition, but no, because I was saying earlier that you need to look for eye reflections, but Western tarsier, they don't have eye reflections. Maybe a little bit, but they don't. When you shine your flashlight onto the eye, the reflection won't appear. So you need to really have a very, very good eye to find the Western tarsier, and they're small. Slow loris, on the other hand, they're slow, but sometimes they can be fast as well. Not really fast, but not as slow as you think it would be. And they live really, really high up on the trees. They can be up to 20, 30 meters above the ground. And you really need to have a very strong flashlight to be able to find them up there and to have a very nice view of the slow loris when they're walking, when they're staying on the tree. Okay, and these two primates are also very, very interesting, where tarsier, as cute as they look, they are carnivores. Unlike other primates, which eat fruits and leaves, tarsier eats other mammals, smaller mammals, basically. They eat snakes, they eat bats, and they eat other big insects as well. And the slow loris, on the other hand, if I'm not mistaken, I think I'm right, they are the only poisonous primates in the world. Yeah, they are poisonous. Okay. All right, moving on to the next slide. So yeah, there are some of the mammals that I did mention earlier, but they can be found in Danum, but they are very, very rare. And the reason why is because these two primates, these two species, actually three, but I don't really have a picture of a Sabah gray langur. I don't really want to grab some of the photos from Google Yeah, because I prefer to use the my own pictures, or Charlie's pictures. But yeah, I just put Sabah gray langur picture on empty. But silver langur and proboscis monkey were sighted in Danum before, but in a very, very, very rare occasion. Yeah, these two monkeys are common in Kinabatangan because they live in the mangrove riverine forest, but sometimes they can be found in Danum as well. Okay, is everybody with me so far? Nice, thank you. All right, and after primates, the other mammals that tourists are really, really looking forward to see and hope to see are the wildcats. So we only have 5 species of wildcats in Borneo, and all of these 5 wildcats can be found in Danum. Yeah, but of course, they are wildcats, and they are not really, really common to be found. There are some of the species that are common, like the leopard cat, but the rest of the wildcats are not that common. Yeah. So the first one would be the leopard cat and the marble cat. Yeah. So these are the 2 cats that we have. Leopard cat are commoner than the other cats, which the size of the leopard cat is almost the size of a domestic cat, and they stay mainly on the ground. And then marble cat, on the other hand, they are the ones that like to dwell on trees. They like to hunt on trees. Even I only have, in almost 11 years of guiding career, I only have seen marble cat on the ground once. And the rest of the sightings would be on trees. Very, very tall trees, 20, 30 meters above the ground. And you can see that it's basically sitting on, lying down on a branch. And luckily, this branch was not so far, was not really far. The level was almost eye level from the roadside, which the tree basically stands on the slope. So Charlie managed to get a very good photo of this. And look at how fierce they look. Okay. The next one would be the flat-headed cat. The flat-headed cat are actually one of the type of the fishing cat. Yeah, they like to stay nearby the river. And one of the one thing that makes this cat very different than the other cats are, since that they like to stay nearby the river, they like to fish. Their paws are almost like they are web paws. So basically, they can go into the water and hunt the fishes in the water. And of course, the largest cat that we have in Borneo is the Borneo clouded leopard, and they're very rare. Yeah. So I think in 11 years, I only have seen clouded leopard 4 times, 4 times or 5 times. So that's how rare the clouded leopards are. Yeah. And yeah, they're just amazing, just beautiful. They also like to dwell on trees to look to hunt, and they can be seen on the ground as well. And I don't have any photos of Bornean bay cat because I never seen one. Yes, guys, in 11 years, that's the only cat that I haven't seen yet. And I hope that after this pandemic is over, when the forests are basically not being visited by people for a very, very long time, I hope that the bay cat are not gonna be shy anymore, and they are gonna be ending my 11 years of waiting. I really, really want to see that cat. Okay. Okay. Civets. Yeah. Some people may not have seen civets before. Yeah, but actually, in Borneo we have 8 different species of civets, and these are some of the pictures of civets that can be found in Danum Valley that we managed to capture. Yeah, we got island palm civet on the top left. Okay, so island palm civet, or previously known as common palm civet, and then on the bottom left would be the Malay civet. Okay, and on the right, bottom right, would be the banded civet. So banded civet are among these 3, they are the rarest. Yeah. So civets, or some people would call them as civet cats before. They were actually not cats. They're completely different than the cats. Cats or felis, they are completely carnivorous. But civets, they are omnivorous. And you can see that even the shape of the head is also very different. Like cats would have flat skull structure, whereas civets has pointed skull structure. Yeah. So then the herbivores, they eat both mammals as well as plants, fruits mainly. And some civets can be found up on the trees. Some of them are on the ground. Like the Malay civets, you don't really see them on trees, but they mainly stays on the ground. And I was pretty lucky enough to see the Malay civet at daytime, where most civets, all of the civets actually, they are active mainly at night. Yeah, but this one, the Malay civet, I found them wandering around the Danum Valley Field Center area. I think try to look for the last small mammal that they can find, or frogs that they can find before they go to sleep. So how rare is the banded civet then? So how rare it is, I would say if you put me inside Danum for a month, maybe I only see the banded civet in a month of time once or twice. Yeah, so that's how rare the banded civets are. And what makes some of the civets are rare, because they live solitary. Yeah, they are not like other mammals. they, they wander alone, and they always stay on the forest floor. And if you're lucky enough, they will come appear on the main road when they're open area. But when they are on the forest floor and walking the trail, when there are a lot of trees blocking your sight, you may only see the eye reflection, but you don't really know what you're looking at, unless if you have a very nice binocular or your flash is very, very bright. But yeah, I mean, like when they are walking on the forest floor, then it will be very, very hard to see. But yeah, I've seen banded civet more than the cats, but compared to the island palm civet and the Malay civet, the banded civet are not, I don't really see them very often. Yeah. Okay. So why there's a common and rare mammals? So if there are common mammals, they mainly lives in a large group. Yeah, like the macaques that I was telling earlier, they live up to 30 to 50 of them in one troop. Yeah, and they breed really fast as well. Okay, and the other point would be the abundance of food source. So basically, this happens to the mammals that they're not really a picky eaters. Yeah, they can just eat whenever they're hungry. They can just pluck some leaves. Yeah, and any kind of young leaves that they can find, they will just kind of eat them. Yeah, and they also, and inside the forest itself, although that they are predators, but they are not so much for population of them. Yeah, and because the predator falls into the category of the rare mammals. So if their predators are rare, it means that some of the mammals can live abundantly inside the forest. Yeah, and some of the rare mammals, why they are rare? Because they mainly live solitary. Yeah, their breeding are very, very slow, and they're limited options of food. Of course, when they are predators, the prey are not just going to be standing there or sitting there doing nothing, waiting to be eaten. So they will find hiding place. They will find shelter to avoid themselves from being attacked, being traced by the predator. So let me show you let me show you an example of how an animal how an animal try to protect themselves from the sorry, from being tracked by the animals easily. For example, like orangutan. Orangutan can be considered as a rare mammal, depends on where you are, but the way how they try to defend themselves from being traced by the predator, and we're talking about a clouded leopard, they would build nests every day. They'll build nests every day, and whenever they build a nest, they will leave their scent on the nest because they've been sleeping there. They've been sleeping on the nest for about 12 hours a day, and basically the sweat, their body odor are gonna stick on the nest. And when they leave the nest the next day, the smell, the scent of the orangutan can be very, very strong, and the smell can remain for 3 days sometimes. Yeah. So when the orangutan leave the smell on the nest, and the clouded leopard starting try to find the orangutans on the nest, they will basically try to follow the scent, right? And when they follow and follow and follow the scent will lead into a nest that is already empty. Orangutans already make a new nest somewhere, but the nest that the orangutan used previously already still has that scent, and basically it's just to lure the leopard to an empty nest. So there's some of the example for an animal such as an orangutan that lives solitary, that have a very slow breeding condition. Orangutan, the gestation period of orangutan is 9 months, like humans, and the babies would stay with their mother for 5 to 7 years. So of course, they need to have a very, very suitable defense mechanism in order for them not to be tracked by the predators easily, because they want to save themselves, they want to save the baby as well. Okay. All right. So the next slide would be. Just wait for a while. What happened to my laptop? Okay. All right. So these are some of the pictures of the common mammals in Danum Valley. You can see that the bearded pig on the top left, yeah, even the bearded pig knows how to pose. So actually, these are the juvenile bearded pigs. Yeah, there are a lot of them in Danum. And during the fruiting season of the forest, which, yeah, another interesting part of Danum Valley is the trees inside Danum Valley doesn't really fruit every year. Some trees does, but most trees doesn't. Danum Valley has this microclimate, which allows the tree to be flowering and fruiting in the supracycle condition. What supracycle means that most of the trees, especially the dipterocarps that I was mentioning earlier, they only flowering and fruiting once in sometimes 2 to 11 years. Some researchers will believe 5 to 7 years. So that's how rare the fruiting and flowering condition would be. Yeah. And during the fruiting season of the forest, or we call it the mass fruiting season, bearded pigs, especially, sometimes they can breed up to, they can give birth up to twice in a year. So that's what makes the bearded pigs becomes abundant in the forest, in Danum Valley. Outside of Danum Valley, they might not. Because in Sabah, we have a very, very traditional dish called the sinalaw bakas. So if there are people that are selling sinalaw bakas, then you might not gonna see the pigs very much anymore. Anyway, we move on to the bottom left, which are the greater mouse deer. Greater mouse deer are also quite common to be found in Danum Valley. And on the bottom right are the flying squirrel, the red giant flying squirrel that was mentioning earlier. You can see that the flying squirrels that has the membrane, yeah, the skin membrane on the side of the body that allows them to glide. Amazing, amazing mammals. And some of them rare mammals in Danum, yeah, are like the Malayan porcupine on the top right. You got the Bornean sun bear on the bottom left. Bottom right, sorry, wrong writing. And the Sunda pangolin. And then those who know Chavez is very, very active on very active advocate on saving and also, yeah, conserve pangolin. I only have seen pangolin twice, guys. I think Chavez have seen more pangolins than me. I only have seen pangolin twice in the wild. Porcupines, I don't really see porcupines very often, but I would say in a year, I only have seen I can say that I can see porcupines up to 3 to 4 times in a year. And porcupines normally come out after a very heavy rain condition. Yeah, if it's dry, I don't really see porcupines. But if it's after the heavy rain, after the rain, you would see, I normally will see porcupines. There are 3 different species of porcupines. And the Malayan porcupines are some of the, Malayan porcupines are some of the easier porcupines to be found. Yeah, and sun bear, of course. Now, if you want to see sun bear, of course, people would want to go to Bornean Sun Bear Conservation Center that is located in Sepilok. But to see sun bear in the wild is also very, very difficult. Yeah, I only have seen sun bear in the wild 3 times. 3 times in the wild. Yeah. Okay. So the next one would be of course, our big jumbo, the bone and pygmy elephants. So this elephant's photo was really taken on the road to Danum Valley. Yeah, I was actually driving out of Danum Valley, and there's a bull elephant suddenly just appeared and crossed the road. We were very lucky. And if it's a bull elephant, they're basically just going to be on their own, solitary. But if there's a herd of elephant, the most individual elephants that I have seen in one herd in Danum were up to 30 of them, all of them along the side of the road. Yeah, the bone and pygmy elephant. On the bottom left, Sumatran rhino. Unfortunately, it was believed that there are no more Sumatran rhinos left in Sabah. And it was believed Danum Valley were actually one of the location where the last, well, when they were still alive, the last 3 rhino in Tabin Wildlife Reserve, and one of them is known as Iman. Iman was found in Danum Valley. So that's why I include this is not Iman, this is actually Kertam. Kertam was found in one of the open plantation, but Iman was found in Danum Valley in year 2014, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And in the bottom right picture would be the bone and colugo. Yeah, bone and colugo is actually pretty. Some say it is common, but some say I would say that it is not that common. Yeah, in the Danum Valley Field Center in the Bone Forest, you don't really see colugo very often, although that they are not as rare as the cats, but they are, I would say, not that easy to be found because they are nocturnal, and the best view of a colugo is when you are able to find them sleeping on the tree like that. Yeah, that is actually the way how they sleep, guys. It's just their sense of appearance. So that's why they keep their eyes open. They just try to be aware of their surrounding, but that's the way how they sleep. And at that time, they will try to climb to the top of the tree, and they'll start to make the first slide. So that's how the colugo moves. So yeah, I was mentioning earlier that there are some of the rare experience that we used to encounter inside the jungle. So yeah, spot me, because both of the animals have spots. Yeah, there's the Malay civet on the left and the leopard cat on the right. So you don't really see these two on the same spot together. Malay civet and leopard cat. Yeah, because leopard cat is basically a predator, which since that they are almost the same size as the Malay civet, maybe slightly larger. So they don't really, and the Malay civet, they are omnivores. They only eat small mammals, and they go for fruits as well as frogs. So they were like, "Hey, how are you? Yeah, I'm gonna go my own way there. I'm gonna find some insects, and maybe you can just wait there." So but probably that's the conversation that they had. Okay. So yeah, I hope that everybody are okay with snakes, because this one are, I think, one of my best. I have a lot of best encounter, but I have a lot of nice rare encounters, but this is actually one of my best, which we were witnessing. It is almost an 8 meters long reticulated python feasting on a pig-tailed macaque on the side of the road. You can see how big the size of the snake expand when it was trying to swallow that pig-tailed macaque. Even until today, I was like, wow, I can't believe that I actually witnessed that kind of moment. Yeah, it's a big feast. And yeah, I don't know when am I gonna be able to see this kind of encounter again, but yeah, that's a thought that's why I'm putting it here, so I can show it to you guys on how special this was. And the next one, breakfast on tree. Yeah, this photo was taken in 2016 at Born and Rainforest Lodge, Danum Valley. And me and Charlie were there. This is actually Charlie's photo. When we got there, that red leaf monkey or red langur were already headless. So that part there is the part where the head was taken off, and that's the leg of the clouded leopard that actually was trying to try to get some rest before it actually continued feasting after a couple of hours after they left that monkey to be there. And actually the leopard brought the monkey down. It was actually eating the monkey on the ground before it noticed the appearance of a bearded pig, if I'm mistaken, and it brought the monkey back up to the tree. So yeah, like humans would have breakfast on bed, the clouded leopard would have a breakfast on tree. So, yep, that's it for my slide. I hope everybody enjoyed. And those are some of the pictures of the mammals of Danum Valley that I can show to you guys. And I hope that some of the infos are informative. And
Dean,
yeah,
thank
thank
you.
you for listening. Thank you for your attention. And all right.
Thank you so much, Dean, for your very insightful talk on Danum Valley's mammals and other amazing animals over there. Thank you so much, Dean. It was really, really exciting, especially the python one. If you have a video of it, please upload on Borneo Mammal Club, yeah? And yeah, so by the way, guys, now it's going to be an open discussion. If anybody has any questions, please unmute yourselves, raise your hand, anything you guys want to discuss, please, this is the time.
Wait for a while. Apa kasih tahu Kak Zila bang masih apa Zoom meeting?
Anybody has any questions?
Hi, it's Yanyi again. I'd just like to say thank you so much for giving this talk. Even though we can't travel to visit Borneo, just listening to your talk is like being there, you know? So yeah, just want to say it was really well
Thank
done.
you.
Enjoyed all the photos.
Thank you.
It's true. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
So anybody else has anything to add, discuss, share? There's a question. Have you seen Tambada or Banteng by Yukmoy? That's the question.
No, I haven't seen any Tambada or Banteng yet. Almost. We were driving into Danum, and actually both to Danum as well as to Maliao Basin. Yeah, we were driving into, and we saw a very, very fresh pile of dung of Banteng. But I have not seen a Banteng or Tambada yet. I would love to see. That's one of my list as well. But yeah, I haven't seen one yet. Only the pile of dung of Banteng. But yeah, the best place to find Banteng so far, according to some of my guide friends, to some of the researchers, I would say the most sightings that was witnessed were actually in Maliao Basin. In Danum, not so much.
Yes, Maliao and also Dramakot. It's not bad.
Dramakot, yes.
There's a question by Sharifa. What method do you use to do mammal inventory?
What the methods you use to do mammals inventory? So what do you mean, like?
Sharifa, Dean is a naturalist and a guide, so I don't think he's doing any systematic research. Yeah. If you're thinking, so I think if he sees a mammal, he would put in his mind or a notebook.
Yeah, I would say like, of course, that we would put in on our mind, but for me, I would do some observation as well. But normally I would do I would record on what time do I see the particular mammals. Yeah, especially if it's a primate like gibbons. Yeah, some especially if it's a primate, they are most of them are territorial. So when they're territorial, they're basically are going to be wandering on the same area for most of the time. And whenever we encounter the mammals, we are gonna be recording like what time do we found them, what type of trail. If we have a GPS, then we are gonna record the coordinate we're gonna record the coordinate of the area, and basically that's basically what we do as a guide. Yeah, and then once we are managed to memorize, or like we can say master the movement within the territory of the mammal, we can track them easily. So that's basically mainly for primate. If it's among the predators, such as clouded leopard or civets, they covered a huge territory. Although that they are territorial, they come and go at the same place where we used to see them before. They normally are going to cover a very, very big area. Yeah, so that's basically the simplest method that we can apply to the mammals. Okay, some of the questions that I can see over here as well. What feature of orangutan do you use to tell them apart? So some of the the easiest thing, or the easiest feature actually that we can tell them apart. One, for me, I'm gonna see where am I. I'm gonna look at where am I at that time. Orangutan are also a very territorial type of primate, type of ape. They would have each orangutan would basically cover up to 1 to 2 square kilometers of area. And for big male, they can cover up to 5 square kilometers of area. So I'm going to look at where am I at that time at first, and see if the orangutan that I spotted at that time are the same from the one that I've spotted before. Then I would look at the feature of the face. They would have very different facial expression. Some of them has a very large forehead. Some of them have a very large cheek. Some of them has extra hair on the face. And as well as the sizes. So orangutan, each individual, with a very detailed observation, you actually can tell the differences based on the facial features. And then you can look at the size, whether it's male or female. Yeah. What is the elevation of your area? Danum Valley, the area that we normally cover, the elevation of where we will walk and try to find the mammals would be within 150 to 200 meters above sea level. It can be up to 300 meters above sea level, but the most area that we're going to cover are in between 100 to 200, I would say. 100 to 200 meters above sea level. So they're pretty low. Yeah, and it is a valley basically. And lower elevation is the best place to find where the mammals are. Between 100 to 200 meters above sea level. Have you seen cloud rats in trees? No, I have not seen. I've seen moon rat, basically. Yeah, I've seen the moon rats, which basically the moon rats are actually the shrew, but they are big and they're easily to be spotted because they are white in color. What are the mammals that you could see right in the VFC itself without having to trek deep into the forest? In the VFC, Chavez knows this. They've spent quite some time in Danum. The most common mammals that you can find in the VFC, Danum Battlefield Center, are the bearded pig and sambar deer. Yeah, these two, you won't miss this. They are like the resident of the Danum Battlefield Center. Yeah, you're definitely gonna see them.
I hope they're still there during the lockdown.
I hope so. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, but
Okay, go ahead.
I think to add to that, Yokmoy, one thing a lot of people don't understand is when they think if they want to see wildlife, you have to walk deep into the jungles of Borneo.
Mm,
You know, you walk 10 kilometers and etc. 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 Actually, the real truth is, sort of a lot of the animals have become habituated, especially in Danum or Tawau and other places. So most of the animals are in the around the lodge sometimes. Actually, the less you walk and the more you just stay around the lodge itself, you'll see more. Sometimes you see the orangutan from the canteen, for example, or the gibbon just from outside your lodge.
mm,
So the deeper you walk in, sometimes you don't doesn't mean you will see more. Night drives, yes, you might see more because you're covering more distance. But walking wise, sometimes the best place is around the lodges itself. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I really, really agree with you, Chavez. Where that concept basically plays among us as a guide as well, because we wanted to maximize the chances or the opportunity of seeing as much as wildlife as possible. And yeah, a lot of people thought that we have to walk really far, we have to walk deeply inside the jungle to find many mammals. But actually, it doesn't really apply that way, because animals that we found are mainly near to the facilities. And the reason why it happens, I believe, that is because of that facility has been there for so many years. The animals are habituated with the environment where they in their mind they'll say, hey, these are not the threats to us. The humans are not hunting us, they are not hurting us, so we are safe within this area. So that's the reason why they come pretty, I would say some of the common mammals in Danum Valley, in both Borneo Rainforest Lodge and Danum Valley Field Center, they 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 would come pretty close to the facility, and you don't really have to, unless if you want to enjoy the forest. Yeah, I mean, you maybe you have seen a lot of animals before, or maybe you have seen most of the mammals near the facilities and you want to enjoy the forest. Yes, I would suggest you to go and walk in deep into the jungle. But if you really, really want to find as much as mammals as possible, try to focus nearby the facilities first. You don't really have to go really, really far to find them. Okay, I think we have one question by Izati. Is there any species of animals have been relocated and reintroduced to Danube Valley from rescue or rehabilitation program? No. The answer to that is no, because uh, Danube Valley is such a very, I would say, thick rainforest. As mentioned earlier, that almost 100% of the forest is virgin. So most of the animals that well, I can say like rescued animals. By first one, with the rescued animals, they were mainly from either oil plantation or secondary forest, where Danum Valley is a primary forest. So when you try to move an animal or relocate an animal from a secondary forest or oil plantation to a primary forest, uh, it will not be very suitable for the animals itself, because they are not used to that kind of environment. Like in the secondary forest, you would have a lot of, for example, they have a lot of gaps between trees, right? I mean, they got a lot of open space, so they may have used, they may be very, very comfortable with that kind of environment where they can see the predators from far away, since there are a lot of gaps. But when they got transferred into a primary forest, which has a very thick, which has a thicker environment, they may think that they're not gonna be used. Whatever is the right word for it. That would be very dangerous for them, I would say, because it is not a suitable or a use environment that it used to be. Yeah. Uh, Other species of animals, also no. There was a talk about. Uh, I was actually I've talked to some of the people that work with the Borneo Rhino Alliance, Bora, and I asked them, like, if there are no more rhinos left, what are the next project? So from Borneo Rhino Alliance, what are the alliances that are gonna be created or started? And there was a talk about like trying to reintroduce the Malayan tapir to Borneo. So tapir is very significant to Peninsular Malaysia, right? But tapir are no longer exist in Borneo, but we used to have tapir in Borneo, but it got extinct, man, long time ago, tens of thousands years ago. But there was a talk about try to reintroducing tapir to Borneo back, but I don't really, I'm not sure when or if they are gonna make it happen. Yeah. Yeah, I think that basically the answer of to that question.
I just want to add on to Izati. Another reason it is discouraged to release animals in Danum Valley is because, like Dean said, it's a primary rainforest, virgin rainforest. So you don't want to bring in other animals and either bring in diseases or, you know, or from outside, which could affect the species there. And also maybe there's already a good, healthy, viable population of existing animals. So if you bring in, let's say, a sun bear or a clouded leopard, it might really piss off the sun bear or clouded leopard there. Or it may not be good. So diseases, and also you're just gonna actually, it might be more harmful to release an animal there, unless, like he said, an animal like tapir or maybe a rhino in the future again, if they, you know, can do better IVF studies and everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's see how that goes.
Let's see how it goes. All right. What are the next question? Are there threats faced by the animals in Danum Valley Field Center? If there is, what's the biggest threat? In the Danum Valley Field Center, I would say there's no threat for the animals there. I mean, like, as long as the state government play its role, yeah, play its role on collaborating with various bodies of organization that are willing to save our forests. Like the state government have been working with the Wildlife Department of Sabah, with the Forestry Department, that they are trying to enforce and also put patrols around the concession area of the state government, the state foundation. And as long as they are able to stop any poachers or hunters from entering the area, I would say there will be no threats, because the only threats that I can think of is humans in the Danum Field Center. So if if the state government is not doing their job, protecting the area, then there is a threat. But I would say now they are doing pretty good job. There's no threat to the animals in the Danum Valley Field Center.
Okay.
Yeah, let's safe move. All right. What significant change? Oh, is it the same species? Yen, are you talking about the tapir? I think if you're talking about the tapir, yes, it is the same species from the one that that you can find in the Peninsula Malaysia from Semenanjung. Yeah. What significant changes, if any, have you observed in Danum Valley over the years, good or bad? Some of the significant changes, I would say that they are, well, one thing that makes Danum Valley change so much is, last time the road to Danum Valley used to be shared with, not to the conservation area, but outside of the conservation area, yeah, which is along the road of the concession area managed by the state government. The road of the concession area used to be shared with the logging trucks. Yeah, so there used to be a lot of logging trucks coming in and out of the concession area, outside of the conservation area of Danum Valley. So some of the wildlife that wanders around the concession area's road may appeared less when the truck was still moving in and out. So, and then I think that the trucks stopped using that road in 2013, as far as I remembered. And after this, the trucks stopped using it. Basically, there are more sightings of mammals on that road. Yeah. And basically, it also affects the amount of animals, or the population of mammals that inside the Danum Valley, with some of the animals from outside of the conservation area also comes into the conservation area. So it does increase a little the population of the mammals as well. But other significant change, it basically relates to the world climate. Yeah, I mean, like there are more amount of rainfall that Danum Valley receives. The average amount of annual rainfall is around 3,300 milliliters annually, maybe more. Yeah, so it could be more if the climate is not being controlled, if not be safe. So and if there are more rain, then it will be some effect towards the forest. And if there are other changes, there's not so much of other significant change that I noticed. Yeah, but good question, by the way. Yeah, good questions. Thank you. Okay. Is there a best time or season to travel to Danum Valley? Over tourism a factor? Avoid the crowd? I would say, like, if you want to avoid the crowd, because it depends on where you want to go. For a Malaysian, yeah, to avoid spending too much money, Danum Valley Field Center would be the best place to visit because it provides basic facilities. There are rest house, there are dormitory, there are campsites that can be used in a lower price. You can even bring your own food and rent the kitchen. You can cook your own food over there. But if you're thinking about going for a fancy holiday, if you're thinking about going for a nice honeymoon, Borneo Rainforest Lodge would be the best place to be. It provides a very nice chalet, nice breakfast by the river, but the price is, yeah. So yeah, to avoid the crowd, the best time to go is around November, December. Yeah, before Christmas holiday. Yeah, if the pandemic is over, when the tourism is recovered. Yeah, before Christmas holiday would be the best. From November to before Christmas holiday would be the best time, and also around January, February. Yeah, but during that time, it is usual for us to experience more amount of rain. Yeah, so it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for mammals, I mean, Danum Valley basically it rains every day, basically. Yeah, it rains like almost every afternoon. It will rain, but not as much as when during the rainy season. But if we are looking for, like, for example, amphibians or snakes, I would say during the rainy season will be the best time. Yeah, but if you're looking for mammals, I mean, there are some times where it's not gonna be raining the whole day. You may just need to wait until it stops raining, then you may try to find the mammals. But yeah, if your point is to avoid the crowd, it would be during the rainy season.
Yeah, and also Yukmi, basically, if you we want to avoid a crowd, come 2 weeks after MCO ends. But like Dean said, it really depends what you want. If you just want to see wildlife in general, I think come any time of the year, any day, you'll see something. If you want something specific that is customized, then you'll have to discuss with them. So I think the answer is come anytime. But also, if there are a lot of people there, that means more people might see more stuff, and then there's a network of people telling, "Oh, we saw this on this trail."
That's true.
So yeah, it depends what you want.
Okay.
You're a Lahadatu boy, Dean. You can answer Brian's question regarding the security concern.
Oh, regarding what's critical, how safe is it to travel to Isaba? Security precaution can be taken on most of it is under control. Yeah, yeah. I was born in Lahadatu myself. I would say growing up in Lahadatu and bringing people a lot to Danum Valley, there's nothing to worry about. Yeah, I mean, of course, that there are several things that happened in Lahadatu over the years, especially in 2013. But after we have the ESCOM that has been situated in Lahadatu, around the east coast of Sabah, around the waters of the east coast of Sabah, things get much safer and safer, and there's nothing to worry about if you want to travel to East Sabah. Yeah, even if you want to go to Sampurna, if you're thinking about go for a dive around the islands of Sampurna, I feel much safer as I can see a lot of police patrols, ESCOM's officers based from island to island, even around the islands in Lahadatu as well. There are ESCOM posts, PGA posts. Yeah, they're one of the procedure to ensure the safety of people every time when they're entering Danum Valley. Everyone that enters Danum Valley needs to pay for a permit. So when you are paying for a permit, the Danum Valley will have a record of whoever is going to enter Danum Valley at a certain time, on a certain date, and they would send the names of visitors to the police as well as the enforcement. Anywhere you go, not only into Danum Valley or the Hadatu, but if you go to Kinabatangan, if you go to Sampurna, that's the same thing that they're also doing. So I would say it's safe to travel to East Coast of Sabah. Yeah. Okay. Didi. Hi, Didi. Well, the question is quite basic in our field, but out of curiosity, would you mind to share ethics when making calls to some mammals, especially orangutan monkeys, to attract them looking towards or during tracking? Because not everyone are fine with it. And yes, I've seen some nuisance occur. All right. Yeah, I mean, I can say you can do it, but not very often. Not to the extent of making the animals becomes very, very uncomfortable. You can do it once or twice just to get their attention, and that's it. Yeah, that's it. You may want just okay. There are a few moments that you may want to use calls. Okay, first is when you try to get their attention. If you are already looking at them, you want them to look at you. Make 1 or 2 calls, short calls. That's fine. But if you keep on repeating it, then it would be you would provoke the animals. Okay, you don't want to provoke the animals because you want them to come back to the place. Because if the animal starts to feel provoked, they will think that that location is not safe anymore. So you want them to come back. You want to see them again. You want, as a guide, you want to make sure that they will come back for your next client. Then we would tell people not to do it very often. And it is also a reminder for the guides, because some guides, they would forget about that kind of ethics. So if there are any guys that are watching this or soon, yeah, it is a reminder for all of us not to get too excited. Yeah, not to get too excited, not to get too comfortable with your guests. You know that your guests are fine, but not every guest are fine with it. Yeah, so you need always to remember not to provoke the animals. The second thing is if you want to try to know where they are, for example, like gibbons. Okay, you want to try to find gibbons, you haven't heard them, and you may want to play a call maybe once or twice just to get to know where they are. That's fine. I mean, that's the once or twice. Once they respond to you, stop the call and find them. Yeah, but as long as you don't provoke them, that's fine.
I just want to add on, Didi, that this is a very sensitive and complicated topic to discuss, and we actually even did a talk on this. It's called Wildlife Watching Guidelines, and now we're discussing with the government to make certain things, what's right and what's wrong. So I'll send the link over here soon. If there was a 2-hour discussion on this from guides, some researchers, and everybody. For example, some scientists, bird watchers, or on people working on bird banding and so on, they're very upset of tourist guides using bird calls to call the bird because it's stressing them out. But on the other hand, the other people also have a point. The photographers are saying, well, you're putting all the bird bands on the bird. You're making it look quite bad also. We don't know if that's affecting the mating, and you catch them in mist nets while doing research, you're actually stressing them out too. So there is actually two sides of the coin. There is a very complicated topic. What's right, what's wrong, what's in moderation we have to do. Do we do it for 1 minute call? Do we do a 10-minute call? Do we take 10 pictures of a frog or 100 pictures? Because we're blinding them as well, right? Or we just take no pictures. So it's very complicated. So I'll find the link on YouTube, which we had a discussion. You guys can have a view of it. But very good question, and yeah, good discussion.
Yeah, I mean, like when it comes to the birds, that would be the time when the issue becomes really, really sensitive. Where, of course, like you want to take very, very nice photos, And it's the same. It's basically the same concept. It's provoking, yeah. And you don't want to provoke them so much because you want to see them again. So same goes to mammals. It's just mammals may not be as less as sensitive as the birds, or maybe on the other hand. But yeah, I mean, like we as a visitor to their habitat, we should respect their habitat, and after all, the things are not gonna be on your side all the time. So if you, if you treat the animals nicely, the animals will be nice to you. So yeah.
So, anybody have any more questions to ask? Any final questions? Either unmute yourself or type. By the way, I've sent the link of that wildlife watching guideline ethics video discussion here. I think the guides and other people, even the researchers, should look at this. Lots of interesting points were made. Yeah, there's another question by Yok Moy.
Another question. So for night walks to spot nocturnal animals, what color flashlights should we use to minimize distress to animals? So that is actually a very tricky question. So yeah, of course, like it depends on one thing that we are going to talk. When I think about is like how our eyes are going to cope with it. Either it's going to be a yellow light or the white LED light. Yeah, but if it's for the animals, yeah, the dimmer the better. Yeah, I would for me personally, I wouldn't suggest using the strong bright LED flashlights. There are yellow lights that can be used. Like if you want to try to find them, you can use the brightest setting. But once you are looking at the animals, try to the dimmer the lights, the better. So I would go for the yellow ones. Okay, but that's what we do here. But in Africa, what they do is like they will try to find the light using a very bright light. But once the animals are there, they're not using yellow ones, but they're using like they put a red filter, yeah, on the light, so it wouldn't distress the animals so much. Yeah. So yeah, for our part, I would use yellow one instead too, and then the dimmer the better when you are shining on the face of the or on the animals itself.
Yeah, I mean that's the best one. That even if you use a bright light and you see the animal, take the light away from the face and just put on the body so you can observe it. But yes, actually the best one is the red lights if you can have a red light. But it's very difficult to get big red lights. So you spot them using normal light and then use a red light. Or actually, if you want to be super animal friendly, you need to have an investment of 20,000 ringgit. 15,000 ringgit is spent on a thermoscope. So you spot them using a thermoscope, and then once you find it, then you use a night vision goggle to observe them. We have had guests like that. Mammal watchers they come to Borneo, they bring these expensive gadgets. We have had them before, and I have used a thermoscope. It's the best thing I've ever used. I can't wait to save 15,000 ringgit. Might take a few years now because of COVID-19, but
Yeah.
thermoscope is the best, and a night vision after that. But red light. So yeah. So you have all these tricky situations.
Yeah.
But good question, Yokmai. I mean, people should know, should be aware about these things.
Yeah, that's very true.
So, if anybody has any more final questions, please type. In the meantime, I'm going to do some shameless advertising. Tonight, there will be a talk by Laura Braunholz on Mammals of the Raja, which is in Brunei Darussalam. Not many people know about this country and also this site. And then tomorrow, there will be the final talk on Mammals of Tawau by Chun Sing and myself, and then you all can decide if Danum is the place or Tawau. I'm just kidding, Dean. That was an interesting place, Mammals of Tawau. A lot of people don't know much about Tawau either, so it will be quite interesting for you guys to learn about Tawau or Brunei a little bit tonight. And if you have missed any of the talks, like the bat talk or the dolphin talk, or if you have friends have missed this talk or the next few talks, like I said, I've recorded most of them and I'll be uploading them on YouTube, starting right after this. So any final questions, guys?
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi. Earlier in the talk, you mentioned about there's a accommodation in Danum, which is much cheaper than the lodge that you mentioned. So, is the Danum center, whatever you call that accommodation, is it open to public, or is it for scientists only?
Yeah, for the Danum Valley Field Center, the cheaper option of accommodation, yes, it is open to public. Yeah, I mean there are researchers that are gonna be on site some of the times, but there are also accommodation that are always available for public visitors, and they would need an advance booking, yeah, just to make sure that you have a room, and it depends on how. It basically depends on your budget. Like you can book directly to the center, yeah, which over there, if you want to go, they normally wouldn't allow you to walk on your own unless if you hire a ranger. But there are only certain trails that they allow you to walk on your own. But if you are willing to spend a little bit of money to go and visit the Valley Field Center through a travel agent that provides basically everything like the guides, meals, and stuff, they will arrange your accommodation. Then you can do it too. But yeah, you also can do the first option, which you can contact the personnel or the receptionist of the Diamond Valley Field Center straight away, and you can organize your stay at the field center.
My second question is, earlier you mentioned that November, December, and January, February is the best time to visit Danum Valley, and that coincide with raining season.
Yeah.
So, is that the best time to see clouded leopard as well? I mean, what are the better months? I'm sure you cannot pinpoint a exact one.
Yeah, I would say if you are looking for a clouded leopard, whew, I think most months, to be frank, the ones that we encounter would be around August, June to August, or July to August, because that would be the time where, although that I was mentioning earlier that the forests are not going to be flowering or fruiting all the time, but there are some trees that are still going to be flowering, and they're still going to follow the same pattern of fruiting. So during the fruiting season would be the best time if you want to find the clouded leopard. Theoretically, yeah, theoretically that would be the best time. But when it comes to know which month is the best to find them, that would be very, 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 very unpredictable. Yeah, I uh, I don't really have a very accurate answer to the question, but that's the window or the image of opportunity that I can give to you. Yeah.
Vince, but and another thing is to tell you the truth, any time of the month is good time to come and see clouded leopard, because you see they have a territory. They're always walking around the same area. So every 15 days they might come the same area. Okay, and they're very active. They're mostly active between 11 p.m. at night till 6 a.m. So that's their peak time. So if you actually the real answer is the more night drives you do, most likely you're gonna see. Okay, you do 10 drives, you have 10 chances. You do one drive, you have one chance. So if you come any time of the month, you might see them. You might see on the first night actually. So yeah, the more night drives, more trips you do, more likely you're going to see. And if you know their timings, they're active at nights. So you can ask the researchers as well on their camera traps as well. You'll find them later at nights usually. So good luck, Vince, finding them.
Okay, my
Like
final.
if you really try to find the clouded leopard, like that, Danum is actually one of the best the place to go. But the other place that you can try if you are focusing on trying to find the clouded leopard is the Dramakot Forest Reserve. Yeah, where they provides an activity of doing night drive. Yeah, you go out on the road hours and hours, and so far, sightings of clouded leopard were mainly recorded from there. And in the recent years, before pandemic, basically.
Yeah, if you want to see a clouded leopard, Vince, if you got 30 days available, what you do is you do 10 nights drama card, you do 10 nights Danum, the other 10 nights you mix it up with Tabin, Tawau, and Malua maybe or something, and then maybe you might see them. The rest is up to your luck.
Jarvis, time is precious.
Yeah.
Well, I think I have a final question for Dean,
Yeah.
or maybe Shavis can answer. So earlier in your slides, you also mentioned like there are 50 species of reptiles and amphibians. So is there a particular reason why there's so few species of herbs in Danum Valley? Any guess, or has any scientists talk about it before?
The amphibians, you mean?
Yeah, amphibians and reptiles.
Amphibians
Only
and
50,
reptiles.
which is very low for Sabah.
I think it's also because of the abundance of numbers of the predator for the amphibians and as well as the reptiles. Yeah, where for frogs, basically we have the civets and the cats that would go and hunt for them, and even the snakes, they would also gonna be hunted by the birds. Where like we got many different species of bird of prey. They would also hunt for the snake. So I think that would I'm not sure if there's any particular discussion among researchers, but as a guide and also based on our observation, based on the population, on the numbers of species of predators to the amphibians and the reptiles, make the numbers of species are less, yeah, and as well as the type of forests that we have, particularly in the Borneo Island as well as in Danum Valley, where Danum itself is a very very thick forest, and also uh, the humidity level of the forest, it can be up to 98% uh, of humidity. So it may not be a very suitable habitat to certain species of reptiles and amphibians, which also contribute to the lackness of the species. That would be my opinion.
Yeah, but I think Vince, another reason is I don't have to answer about Danum, but let's say for example in Tawau, right, we have 52 species of snake, 84 species of frogs, and I don't know 20-30 species of lizards and geckos and so on, and 8 species of turtles and so on. This is because we have been doing there for 5 years survey. We also looked at data of Paul Yambun, for example, and also uh, Inger and Stubing and so on. So I'm not sure. I'm sure Danum has a thorough checklist as well. And people like Adrenal Das might be someone who you could ask, or Stubing. So I'm sure there's more data out there, but a lot of people just don't know this data because it's not so publicly available. So even guides wouldn't know. Yes, even myself, I don't know. But Danum is more popular among mammal researchers and bird researchers. So actually, I'm not really sure. I'm sure there's actually more data out there than we think. So I'm not. We just have to do more digging.
Okay. My question is sorry, I've never been to Danum. Quite ignorant about the habitat. So is there like many small streams or rivers or ponds in Danum that might affect, amphibians and reptiles?
I mean, like Danum itself is there are quite a lot of not big rivers. Like there's a main river called Danum River, as well as Sagama River, and Danum River tribute